Uh, uh, uh,
Oh, that brings back a lot of good memories. My mother had this record, and actually it was a '78. Yeah, those records that really spin fast, the vinyl, only one song on each side. And she also had an album too of this guy's songs. And in the hot summer nights, sometimes she would put this, you know, play this record really loud, yeah, and because she liked it, yeah, and she noticed people outside would stand there and listen, but they liked it too, so she put the speakers out the window, yeah. So then, uh, some of my friends they could Indian dance. So no regalia. They just go out there and start Indian dancing. So I jumped in there next, and then some girls came by, and we were all like about, um, you know, anywhere from 8 years old to 11 years old, and so we were all out there Indian dancing like that, and it was really cool. Yeah, really nice memories like that. And then one of the guys could sing Indian. His name was Humphrey. Humphrey, we all called him Hump, had a really good voice. Yeah? He had a really good singing voice. So we were like, hey, why don't we sing? Yeah. So then we didn't have a drum, so we found the old wash tub. Yeah, we found the old wash tub some places where there was some junk, and we just turned it upside down, and we got some willows. There was some willows nearby, willow trees. So we cut ourselves some drumsticks and just basic drumsticks, yeah. And then we start beating that wash tub like it was our drum, and we learned the songs from that record album. And Humphrey, since he was the best, he was the lead singer, and he would lead off every time. So we start doing that. And then the girls would come out and they would dance, and some of the guys would dance, and we had our own little powwow like that. Yeah, just 8 to 11 years old, we were doing this. And then, then we'd go. We'd go. We did this one time just out of just for the heck of it. Yeah, in front of. We didn't even care whose house it was. We were just outside. Yeah, And then here, the people who lived there, they came out and they gave us pennies and stuff like that. And back then a nickel could buy a candy bar. 10 cents could buy you a bottle of pop. Yeah. So we went around and we said, hey, let's go to some other houses. Yeah. So we would sing for people next. Yeah. So at the end of the evening, we'd all hit we had enough money, so we'd all hit the pop machine, yeah, and get some cold pops because it was hot, really hot summers in South Dakota. And then so before people went to bed early in those days, yeah. So before we went to our homes, we would sit together someplace and drink our pop bottles, and then somebody would say, "Hey, how about this song?" Then they'll practice up for the next night. Yeah. that's that's how my childhood was. Yeah, we didn't play Cowboys and Indians. Never even heard of Cowboys and Indians when I was a kid. Never did, because we didn't play that. There was an old man in our neighborhood. It was one of my grandfathers. Everybody called him Lala Ed. And Lala Ed is a grandson of Crazy Horse. No joke. It's a real deal here. Yeah. And through Crazy Horse's mother, she had two sisters. And one never married, and the other sister married Itazipco Lakota and ended up on the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation. That's the closest tie to Crazy Horse you're going to get. That's how that works. Because his mother's Hohwoju Lakota, and today they live on the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. Cheyenne River has four Lakota groups: Hohwoju, Itazipco, Ohenupa, and Sihasapa. These are the four. There's four different Lakota tribes that live in one reservation. And Crazy Horse's mother was from one. And Crazy Horse is enrolled on Cheyenne River, by the way. He's not enrolled in Pine Ridge. Yeah. And so Lala Ed, he comes from that, from Crazy Horse's mother's family. So that's the closest connection to Crazy Horses on Cheyenne River. It's not on Pine Ridge. Okay? Just so you know. So the descendants, people know who they are today. I went to school with one. Yeah. And but anyway, Lala Ed, see, he told his son stories. Because these are the same stories that he was told when he was a little boy. He heard his grandpas and grandmas talk about Little Bighorn, Battle of the Little Bighorn, when he was a little boy, and he always remembered those stories. So when he became a parent, he taught his sons these stories. Yeah, and then his grandsons, he taught these stories too. And I was hanging in there. So we heard these stories from Lala Ed. So we knew the Crow Indians were our enemies, and that they were riding with Custer, and they fought on the side of Custer. And today the Crow Indians pretend to be us, and they reenact that, make it into a tourist attraction in Montana. Yeah? This is talk about exploitation. But that's another story. But anyway, so what we played was Lakota against Crows. That's what we played. We made the really no good guys the Crow Indians, and we told them to take off. Then we go hunt them down. Yeah. The really naughty guys that cause trouble. Yeah, we made them the Crow Indians, and we go hunt them. So I never heard of Cowboys and Indians until much later. Yeah, I mean, we saw the John Wayne movies and stuff like that, but we didn't. See, we had Lala Ed. He told us about the way it really is, the way it really was. So we didn't fall for the movie crap. Yeah, we knew about Crow Indians. So this is how it was for us when we grew up. Yeah, So I'm really thankful for that, for going through that, for experiencing those things and stuff like that. I'm really glad that I grew up in the time period that I did, and I tried to pass these informations down too. Yeah, to tell you how it used to be. Yeah, and so it's just it's ridiculous today when I see on the reservation and I see kids complaining. They want a Game Boy. They want an Xbox. They want to go on a computer. And they want to be a gang member and fight each other and use drugs and get drunk and disrespect women by raping them when they pass out and things like that. And they never really go out into nature. They just stay home and do these things. I don't even know how to make a simple bow and arrow. That's what we learned. Yeah? Lala Ed taught us how to make bows and arrows. Yeah? That's where I'm coming from, and I'm glad I experienced that. So anywho, just fun talking about that. Yeah? That's how it was for us. So anyway, thank you for listening in to my stories this evening, sharing this information with you. I do appreciate that you do take time, and maybe that helps you to remember things, how it was for you, when you're growing up, and maybe you experienced similar things too. Yeah. And if you want to share that with me, feel free to do so. I like reading about what other people went through in their lives, and because we all have stories to tell. Yeah. And I'm just fortunate that I had traditional knowledge, that I was exposed to traditional knowledge at a very young age, and that my growing up, I never wanted to be a gang member. I never wanted to be somebody that I'm not. I heard Indian music growing up. I heard these stories, and I was happy being an Indian, and I still am. But more importantly, I'm a human. Yeah. I'm Ikjewi Chasha. I am a common man. I'm a human man. Ikjewi Machasha.